To add existing properties and tenancies to a blank database, first you'll need to go to the Setup option and then over to Opening Balances. We'll start by entering the property of the address, making sure to separate the number of the property and the street or road name. Try to make sure you enter as much information here as possible, as this is what appears on legal documents. Select the type of property from the list. Then enter the landlord's details in full. If this is the second time you've added the landlord onto the system, you will be able to select them from the Select Existing Landlord button, as shown here. Then move to the Management tab. Tick that this property is going to be managed. Here you will then select the type of management you conduct at this property, whether or not you have a float at the property at the moment, when you want the statement to be created, and what day of the month. By selecting that you create your statements on the 10th of each month, Rentman will automatically set this property up to start as of from the 10th of February, in this case. Then enter the commission that you charge on a monthly basis. And then you can enter in your EPC, gas safety and electrical certificate information, making sure that if you do enter the EPC, you will have to enter the certificate number at the same time. Then we'll move on to the current tenancy. Here is where you would enter the tenancy dates as per the existing tenancy. So if that was to have started 3 or 4 months ago, you can enter those dates. If the property is there for 12 months, whether or not they've gone periodic since, if the tenancy ended, the full amount of rent that you're currently collecting. The first rent date will be changed if the tenant has since moved their rent date. So in this example, if the tenant moved in on the 8th, but yet moved their rent date to the 15th at a later period, that's where you would enter the 15th. This tenancy started 2 or 3 months ago, so the system asks, as of today, is there any rent outstanding? Then we'll enter in the deposit, what scheme it is currently with, and if we have the registration ID numbers or repayment numbers to hand. We will then select how many persons are at the property, and also what type of contract they are on, and if indeed it has already been signed. Then finally we would enter the tenant's details, again as they would appear on the contract. And then finally their right to rent status. If there is a second tenant, you can at this stage click Add Another Tenant, and it will allow you to enter the second tenant. It's at this stage, and only at this stage, that you would then hit Save and Add New.